There we go. Now we're live.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, Kat. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I washed up my reading glasses. I'm ready to go for this live stream. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today.
We do have a lot of information to cover.
A lot of information. So I'll start
it's going to be useful for both buyers and sellers. So if anybody out there is thinking about buying a home or selling a home or anytime in the near future, you might want to tune in. We've got a lot of very interesting information coming up. We're going to talk about offer review dates and the effectiveness. We're going to talk about some low down, zero down loan programs. And we're also going to talk about how to approach the real estate market for buyers. Okay. So that'll be an interesting segment. We've got 3 different ways, and I'm happy to go through those step by step with you guys and give you some winning strategies to go along with that. So take it away, Dan.
Thank you very much, Kat. Okay. So
let's start off today.
There you go.
Sorry.
Gosh. So I guess that makes me Pat Sajak, I guess. Good for me. Okay.
Okay. You're on, Dan.
So let's start off because this is the time of year people are going out looking to buy houses, right? And so we've got these loan programs that are zero down, and today I wanted to talk about the zero down USDA Rural Development Program. Great program for the right house, and it's a government program, very similar to how FHAs are structured. A little bit different because it's zero down. The government's not going to accept quite as much risk in the underwriting process. So they've dialed back the debt to income. Like on FHA, you can go up to a 55% debt to income or 56%, actually 55.9. In the right scenario, right? I mean, if your credit score is pretty decent and you're making enough money and all that kind of stuff, you can really stretch some limits. Well, that's not necessarily the case with the rural development program. Rural development, which I noticed that I've misspelled, but anyway, was typing too fast. But other than that, it's zero down, and the only real limitations, you could buy manufactured homes. We'll get into that real quick. The only big limitation, there are 2 limitations to an extent. One limitation is income limits, and that's set by the county. And then secondly, it would be the geographical location of the home that you're looking at. So,
right.
So I am gonna take that little banner off the screen.
You got a map for that, Dan?
Yes, I do. I sure do. Hang on here. I'm trying to get something. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Because I feel like it focuses more on the rural areas, right?
It does and it doesn't. So, okay, let's get to the map. Let's start with the geographical limits. So first thing you go, there's a website, and they will talk to you about the map. And here is the state of Washington, right? We'll zoom in just a second. But you type in the address, and you can see that the parts in yellow, that's not eligible. So if it shows up on the map as yellow, not eligible. Everything else is eligible, right? So you can see, basically from, the main cities in Washington, it's not a program designed for the city. It's designed for rural, right? So let me give you an example here real quick. This is your neck of the woods. I deliberately took this area on the map. This demarcation point you can see is Highway 9. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Going up from Kat's house all the way up to Snohomish. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it cut off part of it, but anyway, you get the idea. Well, what do you see on the west side of Highway 9? Not eligible. No go. On the right side or on the east side of Highway 9, eligible, right? And that's kind of how it works. So if you're at North Bend, you're basically eligible in King County. But you just have to make sure on the house that you're looking at that it's eligible. Okay, that's key. And you could, they have a little box up here, and you can type in the address and see if it's eligible or not. Gig Harbor, eligible. Tacoma, not necessarily eligible. Okay, so there are some limitations, but it's a great program if you qualify. And then we'll head on over to the income limitations. And the income, they consider household income and they have two different categories, 1 to 4 people and 5 to 8 people. I only included the 1 to 4 people income limits. But it's very reasonable. Snohomish County, 177,000, King, 177,000. So if the household income is 14,775 or less, you're going to qualify. Then you go out to some of the outlying counties like Kitsap County. It's 11,470 a month. Thurston County, a little less. Down by Olympia, 10,800 a month. Spokane, Kennewick area, that's $9,870 a month, but still very reasonable, right? They're not trying to, they're trying to put this program together for working folks so that you can do a good zero down program that's a little bit out of the city, but not too far. And it also includes, by the way, manufactured homes. Okay, so let's say you want to look at manufactured homes. Manufacturers, there's some stipulations in there. Okay, so basically you have to get a manufactured home that's new. They're not going to allow pre-existing manufactured homes for this particular program, right? So it has to be new. You have to buy it directly from the manufacturer and get it, put on the site where it's going to be financed. There's some red tape to it, but they get done, right? I mean, you just have to follow the rules. So it's a great program, zero down, great way to get into a and not only zero down, but they really, as long as you have closing costs to close, and the closing costs, the gift funds can come from any source, they'll allow it. And so they really are trying to help people get into loans and get into a new home and do so on an affordable basis. The rates are very good. What were the rates here? Let's take a look. We were looking at this right before we came on air. As of right now, the rates on this program are 6.123 percentage points. So even though it's zero down, you get a significantly lower rate than you do on a conventional loan. Conventional loan right now, corresponding loan would be about 6.625%. So it's about a half a percentage point lower. The mortgage insurance on this is extremely low. When I was, fooling around with this, I used a $570,000 loan size, and your mortgage insurance with zero down is only $166.95 a month. It's killer. It's a great deal if you qualify, if your income is, in line, and if you're looking at a property in the right area. That's basically it. It's a very simple program, and it's one that I think really does serve the community extremely well. So that's about it in a nutshell. We got through USDA Rural Development Program in about 3 minutes. So not quite 3. No, it's a little more than that. But anyway.
You lie, Dan.
What was that?
It's an interesting. I said you lie, like a rug, actually. No, the that program is really interesting, and there is a little bit to know about it.
Yeah, there is.
Manufacturers and the geographical limitations, as well as the DTI, the debt to income ratios, have to be a little bit lower. So I think it's a fascinating program, and I agree. I think it serves the community well. So I look forward to working with any buyers that might be interested in purchasing properties that would be located in an area that would be serviced by the USDA loan program, for sure.
Yeah,
so
great program.
As a matter of fact, I live in an area that could be, because I am on the east side of Highway 9.
Oh, there you go.
Truth be told.
Oh, you're a rural girl. Aha.
I am a rural girl. I'm in Clearview, so pretty close to being known as horse country out here, or certainly a lot of pastures.
There you go.
Anyway, so what do you want to do next, Dan?
Let's go to stats by cat because
Stats by
this is a
cat.
big
Okay,
week.
let's do that.
It's a great week for these stats because there's a lot of stuff coming. Well, I'll let you take over here. Hang on, let me shut my mouth. And I just found this. I found this week's stats to be really interesting. Which county do you want to start with?
So we'll start with King.
King. Oh, all right. Let's see if I
Yes.
can bring up King. There
And
we go.
you know, the thing to know about King County is inventory is going down. Inventory is also going down in Snohomish County. And so the market is tightening as we speak. I mean, the month supply of inventory in King County is down to 0.9 months. So
wow. I'm looking at some of these stats
tight
and they are, we're going to get into this later. Sorry for me to interrupt. But 79% are pending by the offer review date. Holy cow.
Yeah. So those sellers in King County that set offer review dates, and I believe there was 53% of sellers set offer review dates in King County. Of those sellers that set offer review dates, we had 79% get under contract within that first 7 days. And almost all those were within 1 day after the offer review date. There may have been one or two that went another day over, but none of them went past 7 days. And so the offer review date likely contributed to them getting under contract with more than one offer. And so, but 79% is a pretty incredible number. So, but 57% of sellers in King County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January, 26th and February 1st. 65% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. 53% of sellers in King County set offer review dates, as we just mentioned. And 79% of sellers actually got under contract by their offer review date in King County last week. So that's very, very recent data, by the way. Very recent data. And we've already talked about month supply of inventory. So King County has got a pretty good seller's market going on. The data week to week has been similar the previous week to last week as far as the number of offer review dates, with sellers making their offer review date, but the number of sellers setting offer review dates is going up. So
that makes sense. That does.
It does make sense because we've got a good number. We've got a good percentage getting under contract within the first 7 days. I mean, we're at 65. What is it? 57% of homes getting under contract that first 7 days on the market, and that matters. So you know, we should have a fair percentage of sellers setting offer review dates in King County. So, all right, Snohomish County.
Snohomish County. I'm ready for it.
I feel like I want to turn this light. This light's like glaring on me. Hold on. Turn this thing down a little. I feel like it's got out of control on me. Anyway, okay, Snohomish County. Here we go. 55% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January 29th and February. If they listed their home between January 26th and February 1st. 64% of sellers in Snohomish County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. Only 39% of sellers in Snohomish County are setting offer review dates, and that number should probably start to go up. So we had 79% of those sellers in Snohomish County that did set offer review dates get under contract within 1 day of their offer review date, which is a very strong support for setting an offer review date if you have the property that is properly prepared for the market and priced accordingly. And Snohomish County is down to 0.8 months supply of inventory, and their inventory has been tightening continuously for the last few weeks. So that's a very, very slight supply of inventory. It's 3 weeks and change, guys. So
Wow.
very, very little inventory in Snohomish County, just a couple of weeks. So Snohomish County. How about Pierce?
Ah, I clicked the right button. We have
You did
Pierce
click
on the
the right
screen. Unbelievable.
Okay. Hey guys, you guys on TikTok, hey, ask me questions. Real estate questions, ask Dan lending questions. So shoot questions over to me. Last week I had quite a few people kind of chiming in. I love that because I want to know what's on your mind. That's why we're doing this, right? We want to give you some information, but we also want to hear from you and find out if you're looking for a house and what your questions might be if you're in process. Anyway, you're just getting in the process of trying to find one. So anyway, feel free to shoot me questions. All right, Pierce County. Actually, let me just grab a different jacket here. I don't know, Mr. Fat Tuesday might want to join in a minute, Dan. Just grab it. Mr. Fat Tuesday is my sidekick.
I'm watching, but you know what I was just looking at, Kat? It's
What?
pretty cool. I just went on the Facebook app and I'm watching our live stream while it's going on, and we're doing the live stream. I was watching the live stream on the Facebook app. It was pretty cool.
Oh my, you're watching us live, huh, Dan?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of cool. 40% of sellers. Should we do Pierce County?
Let's do Pierce County. Yes, let's.
Okay. So Pierce County, 40% of sellers in Pierce County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January 25th and February 1st. 54% of sellers in Pierce County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. 25% of sellers in Pierce County set offer review dates. The average days on market for sold listings in Pierce County for the past 30 days was 52 days. So that number is going to be coming down, but it's still at 52 days. And then Pierce County is down to 1.2 months supply of inventory. And their inventory has been shrinking as well. So,
I've got to say, for Pierce County, those are a lot stronger numbers than we were seeing just a few weeks ago. They really are.
Yeah, Pierce County, their market has become a lot more solidly seller's market. It's been a seller's market for a couple of years there, but their market softened quite a bit more than ours did last summer. And I gotta tell you guys, it was not a good fall. Anyway, even in Snohomish and King counties, and Pierce County had a little more difficult time even so. But hey, so should we move on to
yes,
Mason?
Let's move on. How about Mason County?
All right. So we got a big goose egg for Mason County if sellers listed their home between January 25th and February 1st. Not as big a population in Mason County, so that's not altogether a big surprise. This is not a big listing season for that area. I believe they're a lot more seasonally driven. If you've been to Mason County, you know how beautiful it is. And I believe there are quite a few second homes in Mason County. So, but we did have 24% of sellers get under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. And their average days on market for their sold listings is 61, and they do have a longer average days on market for their listings just because it's not as active a market, especially this time of year. And they have Mason County has 2.3 months supply of inventory. So there you go. That's Mason County. Skagit County, Dan?
Let's go to Skagit.
All right. 35% of sellers in Skagit County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January 25th and February 1st. 44% of sellers in Skagit County got under contract within the first 2 weeks on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. So pretty good market in Skagit County.
Mm-hmm.
Only 19% of sellers are setting offer review dates in Skagit County, and that's okay right now. Only the shiniest objects should be setting up offer review dates in Skagit County. Homes that are really well prepared for market, and they're not too dated, don't have any inherent challenges like steep driveways and obsolete floor plans. And so, maybe you got a view, and that would be a reason to set an offer review date. Or you've got a fantastic rambler, something like that. But you wouldn't normally be just setting an offer review date in Skagit County quite yet. That will probably change going forward. So we do have 70 days as the average days on market for homes that have sold over the last 30 days in Skagit County. They also have a long market time right now. And then Skagit County has 1.5 months supply of inventory.
All right. How about if you move, Kitsap County? Yes, the most beautiful county outside of Snohomish County. Is that correct?
It is beautiful. Yes, it would rival Skagit, right? And Mason for sure. And I would dare say, I think Snohomish and King have some beautiful areas as well. But yes, we do love the ferries.
That's true. It's a beautiful ferry ride to get over there. It is. Kitsap's beautiful.
And to get back, to be fair, it does go both ways. I love people talk about, the ferry system in Kitsap, but it does go both ways, and they have to leave Anacortes, and Edmonds and Mukilteo. So, but it is fun to have the access to that in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep, it is.
All right. So Kitsap County, 45% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between January 25th and February 1st. 48% of sellers in Kitsap County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between January 12th and January 25th. 13% of sellers set offer review dates in Kitsap County. And that's probably still fair. They might want to wait for the market to heat up just a tad bit more before they start setting more offer review dates. It should be limited to just the shiny objects of the home that are really well prepared for market and are priced accordingly.
Yeah.
And the average days on market for sold listings in Kitsap County is 43. So they've got a pretty strong market even through the wintertime. And Kitsap County, 1.1 month supply of inventory. So there you go.
Well, Kitsap's looking pretty good.
Yeah. So the market is staying pretty stable right now, right? So it was, it was improving through January, and then now this week's data looks really similar to the previous week's data. When I was putting together the stats, there wasn't a lot of improvement, but it's still very strong. So some of the inventory is being eaten up. I think that it wouldn't hurt if interest rates came down a tad.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't hurt one bit.
I'm just ribbing, Dan.
All I can say, Kat, is I am not
control.
I am not keeping my end of the bargain here with these interest rates. So, anyways, let's move on to the subject that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and I think it's a great topic to talk about. It's the winning strategies for buyers. And I think you have some great ideas for buyers to help.
Yeah, so we're going to get to that, but I want to start off by talking about the different approaches a buyer can utilize in how you enter the real estate market as a buyer, how you can approach the listings, right? To try to figure out exactly how you're comfortable moving forward, because there are different ways you can make offers, right? So, one thing you could do to minimize your chance of having to compete is you can look at time-worn listings. And what I mean by that is these are not bad listings, right? These are just listings that have been on the market maybe more than a week or two. So if they've been on the market more than 30 days, the sellers may be more motivated, more than 60 days, even more motivated. But anybody that hasn't gotten under contract is going to have some level of motivation. The good news is if they've been on the market for more than a couple of weeks, they may be much more willing to negotiate. And if they don't have a seller procured inspection, there's probably going to be a very good chance that you can have your own inspection as a buyer. So this is a way to get into the market, to make an offer on a home without having to necessarily compete. So looking at properties that have been on the market for a while. So that's one way you can look at properties. So another thing you can do is sellers can either set an offer review date when they list their property, or they can look at offers upon receipt. So if you do want to look at the new listings, and a lot of times that's really, fun to do, right? Because everybody wants to see what's coming on the market. You could, if you wanted to, and this is a very bold move, you could submit a compelling offer on that perfect property. You say, oh gosh, it just came on the market today, Kat. Can we get into it? And oh my gosh, we want to make an offer on it. And the sellers set an offer review date. Oh no, right? So what we can do is we could say, hey, seller, my buyer really would like to buy your listing, and we would like you to forego your offer review date. We need the seller to want to do that. And so we really have to sweeten the pot for them, right? So we've got to come in over asking price. We need to make sure that we're fully underwritten, right? Fully through underwriting with a well-known lender in the area, right? I don't want to say not Rocket Mortgage, but not somebody that's just an online presence, but somebody.
Oh, don't be so harsh. Poor Rocket Mortgage. Oh, I feel bad for Rocket Mortgage, but
well, they're very difficult to. My experience. Okay, I'm not going to say that. They've been very difficult for me to deal with as my clients express frustration as they get passed from one loan officer to the next every conversation that they have through the process. And it did get very frustrating, especially the last one. I haven't had a lot of clients that have had to deal with Rocket Mortgage, but not to disparage them. But the clients that I did have recently work with them, it was a trying process. We prefer it as realtors if you're working with a local lender. And that's true of listing agents too, you guys. That's not just me talking. So that's very true of listing agents. We like you working with a local lender. So, somebody that you can actually meet in person if you have to, to get things happening. So, but anyway, so it's throwing me off my game here. So you want to get fully underwritten. You also want, so when you're looking at a compelling offer, you also want to make sure maybe that seller has had an inspection. So you reviewed that inspection, you reviewed the Form 17, so you're comfortable waiving those. So this is if you're getting ready to make a compelling offer on a property, an early offer to a seller that has already set an offer review date. And so the other thing you can do is you can add an additional down addendum to your offer, which what that would do is cover the difference in case of a low appraisal. So if you're buying a house that's $800,000 and the appraisal comes in at $700,000, you'd be willing to pay that extra $100,000 difference between what you're willing to pay for the property and what the bank is willing to loan on. And so you have to bring that extra in addition to closing costs and down payment. So it can be a financial stretch for some people. So good thing to understand that concept. I like going over that with my clients a number of times before they submit an offer with it's called an additional down addendum, 22 AD. So, but that's the compelling offer scenario. And the other way you can buy a house is it just, if the seller set an offer review date, which, almost half of them are doing in Snohomish County and over half of them are doing in King County, go ahead and look at those houses. It gives you until the offer review date in most circumstances to actually get inside those homes and take a look at their inspection reports. If sellers have provided a seller procured inspection report, make a decision which house of the ones you've looked at you'd like to make an offer on, and have your broker call that listing broker and get some deets, get some information, right? What's the seller looking for? How many offers do they think they're going to get? What's the traffic been? And if the seller has not had seller procured inspection available for the buyer, then ask the listing agent if it's okay if your buyer has an inspection of their own. So you can either do a cursory walkthrough inspection, which is usually a few $100s cheaper, but does not give you a written inspection, or you can have a full-blown inspection, which runs you $550, $700, something like that, depending on the size of the house, etc. Right? So that's something to consider there too. So you're getting prepared, right, to make an offer. So you're doing an inspection in advance if you have to. You're reviewing all the other documents, the Form 17, and any kind of HOA documents that might be available to you. And if there's nothing that worries you about the HOA, be prepared to waive that when you're competing. And so also when you're competing, there's a good chance. So when you submit your offer on the offer review date, you'll also be including an escalation clause, which in normal cases, which would allow you to make incremental bids over the next bid. So you may want to increase your offer by $5,000 increments or $10,000 increments over the next highest offer up to a limit. So let's say you're trying to buy that $700,000 or $800,000 house, and you're willing to go to 900. So you could do $1,000 increments up to 900,000, and your bidding would stop at 900,000. So if you were the highest, then theoretically you'd be offering the most for the property. But I will tell you, the seller is going to be concerned about not just the highest offer. They're also going to be looking at the contingencies. So if you don't have an inspection contingency, sellers have a tendency to like that. They also like to see people waive financing. Nope. You're not doing that if you got financing, and you're not waiving the inspection if there's no inspection. So you either have your own or the seller's going to provide it. You're not waiving it, or you're going to ask for it on your offer, right? So let's see. And you're also going to offer to cover the difference in case of a low appraisal if you have the financial capability of doing that and it means that much to you to get that house, right? It's always a decision, right? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what the seller is expecting.
Well, and right now is this month, like this week, it's kind of unique, and I'll bring this up real quick, but February's challenge is the appraisal comps are really coming from December, which is the low time of the year, basically.
That's right. And the ones that are closing in January, you guys, are negotiations from December. So those aren't helping the appraiser at all. So even in February, we have trouble with appraisals. So, by the time we get into March, we may have some closings that will help support March, March appraisals. But February is still a tough month to have homes appraised. So sellers like to see that AD, that 2280, that additional down addendum included in your offer. You don't have to cover the entire span of the difference between the purchase price you're offering and their list price, but it is ideal if you do. So, and then under no circumstance, I'm just going to add this as words of caution. Under no circumstance do you waive your inspection if there is none. You do not waive your financing if you are relying on financing. And you also are not going to provide non-refundable earnest money. You're not going to release any earnest money to the seller. That's ridiculous. You don't have to do that. So it's not in your best interest. You could lose that money. It's just would be difficult to figure out how you would get that back if for some reason the seller can't perform. And there are lots of terrible reasons why sellers can't perform sometimes, and we don't want to get into those, but life happens, right? And so my goal is to protect your earnest money. So we're not giving it away. So, but those are some strategies, some winning strategies to get your offer accepted. One, if you're competing on the offer review date, or two, if you're looking at submitting an early offer. So if you submit an early offer, there's a good chance you're going to be able to keep your financing addendum in play, right? You may or may not have to submit a 22AD. It just depends on how sharp that agent is. You might try to slip it in without one. I've done it. But be prepared, right? You can always submit your offer without it. If the listing agent says, hey, where's the 22 AD? And you go, oh yeah, okay.
I forgot.
Well, they're gonna know that's not true. but you don't have to right up front. If you're the only game in town, if another offer comes in, then that's the risk you're taking. If you want the seller to just accept your offer quickly, you do everything, right? You waive the inspection, providing there is an inspection. You do include your financing. You waive the HOA if you've gotten enough information on the HOA. You waive your Form 17 if there's nothing on there that looks funny. You waive your opportunity for verification of information. That's another thing that you can waive. You can also waive title. I like title contingencies in there just because it gives you a structured time frame in which to get things done if something does come up, and things do come up on title. So, but anyway, so things to think about if you're, either way, if you're making a bully offer, which is also known as a compelling offer, or you're trying to compete. Those are ways to do that.
Right. Man, that's awesome.
Winning strategies on
winning strategies.
Winning strategies on how to get your offer accepted, whether it's a compelling offer or you're competing on the offer review date.
Excellent. Thanks, Kat. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Dan.
we've covered a lot of ground in a short period of time today. Whoa, baby.
I've got all these people that they say keep inviting somebody to join as a guest, and I'm like, I don't think these people are asking. I feel like TikTok is just suggesting that. I'm not sure.
Well, you can press
some of
the
them
button.
I know, some of them I don't know.
We're at the end of the live stream. You can press the button and let chaos reign. Let's see what happens.
No, I prefer not to do that. Somebody wants to join me on the live at some point. Why don't you shoot me a DM, and I'd be happy to have you join us. I just need to know who I'm talking to before we go on the air, because I don't want to get banned.
I don't want to get banned either.
I don't want to get banned. Anyway.
Well, Kat, it's been great. And
can I tell one quick story, Dan? I know you're in a hurry to get off.
I'm not in a big hurry, but go ahead.
I like to tell a really quick story about the real estate market, the most recent one that I have. And the most recent one I have this week is I took a look at a house with some clients for a property out in North Bend, Issaquah area. It was listed for, let's say, 1.2, 1.3-ish. And it was a second day on the market. So my clients called me the first day it came on and said, hey, this looks like it might fill the bill. And I made us an appointment for the next day. They were booked out that day. And so we went out there the following day. And man, it had fantastic views. But there were some things that made it functionally obsolete, the floor plan, which was interesting because it was built at a time when you would not think that it would be a challenge to have, for instance, a primary with its own ensuite, right? And there were some other things that were unusual. So I would call them inherent challenges is what I would call them. But the views were fantastic. Well, I called the listing agent a couple days later after my clients decided they did not want to make an offer on it. And we'd already found out they had one in hand by day 3. They had one in hand. And the seller was reviewing offers upon receipt. And they ended up with 4 offers. And it went considerably over asking price. And cash got it. Cash won.
My God. So wait a minute.
Over asking price. Even with the inherent challenges.
Huh? So it was listed at 1.2?
It was lit. I'm not going to tell you exactly because I don't want somebody looking it up. At 1.2 to 1.3 in that area. Cool property, really neat property, but there was missing some things, right? Just not your average home. So it had some challenges. It had some really beautiful gardens. There was a lot of things to love about it. But there was, it certainly wasn't everybody's cup of tea, honestly. And at the end of the day, because the market is what the market is right now, it got 4 offers. And I checked pricing. And of course I can pull my own comps and everything, but I like to run things through Case Shiller. And so I ran that one through Case Shiller. And I thought it looked spot on. The pricing it was well priced, I thought, given that we're almost into spring, late winter. And I was giving them a boost for the little remodel they did and the pricing going up right now. So pricing is going up, obviously, in King County. And so I'm guessing it went for quite a bit more than what it was listed for. So anyway, congrats to them. But it wasn't quite a good fit for my clients at the end of the day. There were a lot of things we loved about it, but not quite a good fit. But I just want you guys to know that there was 4 offers on a property that had a bit of a functionally obsolete floor plan. And if you think about homes that were built in the 40s and 50s, you can kind of, you start making some guesstimates as to what that might be. So I don't want
There
to
you
point
go.
out specifically, but anyway, I just like to tell a current story. So that's
Yeah.
my latest story, guys.
Oh gosh.
My
Well,
own experience in real estate.
I would like to tell my own latest story too, but I don't think anyone wants to hear about my drunken days down at Dino's. So that's okay.
Dan, you and Dino's. I
Me
don't
and
buy
Dino's.
any of it. You don't go to Dino's.
I do, but not as often as I brag about.
Right. That's my point. He's trying to play like he's a bad boy.
Yes, but in fact, I'm a doddering old man who goes to bed early because he gets up early to work.
Well, unfortunately, that's kind of the way of the world in our business. Getting up early and going to work. Almost 7 days a week, we might add. Anyway.
Yes, that is the truth.
All right, Dan. Well, you want to call it good?
Let's call it good. Let's call it good.
Okay.
And I think it's a great show. You brought so much information this week, Kat. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I loved hearing about the USDA loan program. Thank you. No, it was good.
That's
And
good.
by the way, my name is, and I don't think we introduced ourselves. My name is Kat Howard with Windermere Real Estate in Winville, Washington. And this is Dan Mellis with Nexa Mortgage. He's out of Renton. I'm out of Woodinville. And we like to do these live streams once a week. And this is ours this week. So you want any additional information about real estate or lending, feel free to DM either one of us.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. There's our introduction.
There we go. Yes. Our introduction, 41 minutes into the live stream. There we go. Oh, gosh. Well,
Okay,
thank you,
Dan.
Kat. I will
Thank you,
I'll talk to you soon, and
Okay.
and we'll see you again next week.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
See you later, Dan.
All right.
Stay
Bye-bye,
warm.
Kat. Yeah, I'll try. You know, it was like 24 degrees this morning out on my porch. Holy cow, it was cold.
Oh my God, right? Oh, I guess I can look through my little comments here and see if anybody has anything to say.
Oh, I guess I better end the live
I
stream
don't
here.
think anybody